A man watches his wife and daughter disappear into a hospital for medical tests. 4 hours later, the staff tells him they were never there. There are no registration records, none of the nurses remember them, and the scanning system shows his daughter was never examined. Even stranger, every security camera shows the man walking through the hospital alone. Desperate to prove his family is real, he starts searching for evidence. But every clue makes the hospital look more like an illegal organ trafficking operation. At the same time, it makes him look like a killer hallucinating after murdering his own wife and daughter. Did the hospital erase 2 patients from its records? Or did his mind erase a truth too painful to face? It all begins just a few hours earlier. The man's name is Ray. After Thanksgiving, he is driving home with his wife, Joanne, and their daughter, Peri. The family is still together, but the mood inside the car is painfully tense. Joanne spent much of the holiday defending Ray from her parents. She feels he is no longer the positive, dependable man he used to be. Work, life, and the weight of his past have left him withdrawn and sensitive. Lately, he has also become much quicker to anger. Ray tries to explain himself, but the argument only gets worse. Fortunately, Peri interrupts them when her music player runs out of power. Hoping to ease the tension, Ray suggests that the whole family sing together. As they drive along the gloomy highway, the 3 of them begin singing Peri's favorite song, Sing a Rainbow. Together, they call out the different colors. For now, it sounds like nothing more than a warm children's song. But the second time Ray hears it, those words will mean something completely different. Before long, Peri needs to use the bathroom, so Ray pulls into a roadside rest stop. Joanne takes her daughter to the restroom, while Ray enters the convenience store. He plans to buy coffee, soda, and batteries for Peri's music player. But while standing in the aisle, Ray also picks up 2 small bottles of liquor. At the register, the clerk tells him the store does not accept cards. Ray does not have enough cash for everything. After hesitating, he puts back the batteries his daughter needs and keeps the alcohol. When Ray returns to the car, Joanne asks whether he found the batteries. He lies and says the store did not have any. Then Peri realizes her small compact mirror is missing. Joanne heads back to the restroom to look for it. Ray lifts Peri out of the car and tells her to wait nearby while he searches the back seat. After standing there for a moment, the girl notices a balloon a short distance away. She walks toward it alone. Beneath the balloon, Peri finds a dead animal. Then a stray dog emerges from behind a pile of debris. It does not attack, but it slowly begins moving toward her. Frightened, Peri backs away without noticing the unfenced construction pit directly behind her. Ray hears his daughter calling for help and immediately turns around. He tells Peri not to move while he approaches slowly, trying to draw the dog's attention away from her. But the animal keeps coming. Desperate, Ray picks up a rock and throws it at the dog. The rock scares the animal away, but it also startles Peri. She loses her footing and falls straight into the pit. Ray lunges forward to catch her and falls in after her. His head slams hard against the ground, and everything goes black. While unconscious, he hears a distant voice inside his mind. "I'm sorry, she's gone." Then another voice follows. Neither the mother nor the child survived. Ray suddenly opens his eyes at the bottom of the pit. Blood is running from his forehead. Joanne has already climbed down and is kneeling beside their motionless daughter, desperately calling her name. Ray struggles to his feet. Thankfully, Peri soon opens her eyes and says her arm hurts. Ray checks it and believes it may be broken. He immediately carries her back to the car and drives his family toward the nearest hospital. Ray speeds through traffic while Joanne urges him to go faster. Eventually, they arrive at a hospital called Kirkbride. The lobby is dimly lit and packed with people waiting to be seen. Ray rushes to the front desk and asks the nurse to examine his daughter first, but she barely looks up and simply tells him to get back in line. Joanne grows more anxious and tells Ray to do something. Ray returns to the desk and insists on registering Peri. While they wait, he notices something strange happening outside the window. A hospital worker hands a silver container marked perishable to an ambulance worker. In return, the other man passes over a thick envelope. The 2 men quickly go their separate ways. Ray senses that something is wrong, but he has no time to investigate. All he cares about is getting his daughter treated. When it is finally Peri's turn to register, the employee asks about family medical history, insurance, and allergies. The questions seem normal at first. Then she suddenly asks whether Ray and Joanne want to place their daughter on the organ donor list. They immediately refuse. But the employee keeps asking whether anything could persuade them to reconsider. Then she asks for Peri's blood type. Joanne finally stops the disturbing interview. Their daughter only injured her arm. Neither parent understands why the hospital is so interested in her organs and blood type. Since their insurance is not accepted there, Ray decides to pay in cash. Once the registration is complete, the employee picks up the phone. Then, she calmly reports that a 6-year-old girl has arrived without an appointment and with an unknown blood type. To Ray, it does not sound like she is describing a patient. It sounds like she is reporting that a product has just arrived. A short time later, an older doctor enters the examination room. He checks Peri's arm and confirms that it is broken. But before finishing, he carefully examines her eyes. He smiles and tells Peri they are the most beautiful eyes he has ever seen. It sounds like a harmless attempt to comfort her, but the comment leaves both parents strangely uneasy. Because Peri fell from a height, the doctor worries that she may also have suffered a head injury. He recommends a scan. The procedure is extremely expensive, but Ray does not hesitate. As long as it confirms his daughter is safe, he is willing to pay any price. A male orderly arrives with a wheelchair and gives Peri a small stuffed dog. Hospital policy allows only one parent to accompany her during the scan. Since Ray also injured his forehead, Joanne decides to go with their daughter. Ray stands outside the elevator and watches his wife and daughter being wheeled inside. The doors slowly close, but instead of going up, the floor indicator drops all the way down to level B2. Ray finds it strange, but at the time, he does not think much of it. He returns to the waiting room, where exhaustion and the pain in his head quickly overwhelm him. When he opens his eyes again, evening is approaching. His watch shows that he has been asleep for nearly 4 hours. How could a simple scan take that long? Ray rushes to the front desk and asks about his wife and daughter, but the day staff has already gone home, and the new nurse has no idea what he is talking about. She enters Peri's name into the computer, but the system shows no record of her. Ray assumes the information was entered incorrectly. He asks her to check the paper registration forms, but the documents used that morning have already been removed. His only option is to ask the nurse to call the scanning department. The answer on the phone sends a chill through him. The final scan of the day took place at 9 that morning. The patient was a woman in her 60s, and no one has used the machine since then. According to the hospital, Peri never received a scan at all. Ray cannot believe it. He watched his wife and daughter enter the elevator with his own eyes. How could there be no record of either of them? He forces his way into the treatment area and finds the bed where Peri was examined. But when he pulls back the curtain, several complete strangers are lying inside. The doctor on duty and hospital security quickly arrive. Ray desperately tries to explain what happened. Then he spots the nurse who checked them in that morning. He asks her to confirm that he is telling the truth. The nurse admits that she remembers seeing Ray, but her version of events is completely different. According to her, Ray arrived alone with an injury to his forehead and appeared confused. There was never a wife or daughter with him. Ray completely loses control. Convinced that the nurse is helping the hospital hide the truth, he lunges toward her. He demands to know where they took his family. But to everyone watching, Ray looks like a violent patient with a head injury who is slipping into a breakdown. The staff quickly restrains him and injects him with a sedative. Security drags him into a room and locks the door. The drug begins taking effect almost immediately. Ray's thoughts start to fade, but he knows that if he loses consciousness, his wife and daughter may disappear forever. He finds several syringes of adrenaline inside a medical cabinet. Without hesitating, he drives them into his thigh. The powerful stimulant temporarily overcomes the sedative. Ray wraps a towel around his fist, smashes the glass in the door, and escapes into the hallway. Security guards immediately chase after him. During the pursuit, Ray knocks over a cart filled with medical waste. Blurred pieces of tissue and what appear to be human body parts spill across the floor. Ray has no time to examine them and keeps running. But inside his mind, the sight becomes another piece of evidence that the hospital is involved in organ trafficking. He reaches the parking garage and manages to stop a police car. Ray pulls a family photograph from his wallet to prove Joanne and Peri are real. Then he tells the officers how his family entered the hospital. Only a few hours later, everyone inside began denying they had ever existed. The officers cannot tell whether Ray is telling the truth. Still, they agree to return to the hospital and investigate. With the police involved, the staff is forced to check the records again. Nothing changes. There is no patient named Peri in the computer. The scanning system shows no record of being used. The doctor on duty also says Ray arrived alone, but Ray insists he watched his wife and daughter go down to level B2. The problem is that the hospital's scanning equipment is located on the 3rd floor. The officers take Ray upstairs to inspect it. The system confirms that the machine has not been activated since 9 that morning. If Joanne and Peri were never taken for a scan, why were they placed inside the elevator? And where did they really go? To Ray, this only proves that the scan was a lie. He believes the hospital planned from the beginning to take his family underground. At his insistence, the hospital calls back the doctor who examined him that morning. Ray confronts the man and demands that he admit treating Peri's broken arm. The doctor remembers Ray, but once again, his version of events is completely different. According to the doctor, Ray arrived alone and claimed he had been in a car accident. The doctor recommended a head scan, but Ray refused. After that, Ray insisted on returning to the lobby to wait for a woman named Abby. The name stops Ray cold. Abby was his first wife. She died in a car accident 8 years earlier. Then Ray remembers that his insurance information has not been updated in years. Abby's name is still listed in the records. He immediately becomes convinced that the hospital found this detail in his file. Now they are using his dead wife to make him look delusional. Security suggests checking the surveillance footage. If Joanne and Peri really entered the hospital, one of the cameras should have captured them. But the hospital's system is badly outdated. It records only 30 seconds out of every minute, leaving large gaps between clips. The footage clearly shows Ray, but his wife and daughter are either missing during those gaps or standing outside the camera's view. There are cameras all over the hospital, yet not a single one shows Joanne or Peri. The officers begin to doubt Ray's story. Then Ray remembers the cashier at the rest stop. She must have seen all three of them leave together. If they can find her, she can prove that his memories are real. Just as everyone prepares to leave, Ray finds a yellow scarf beneath the examination bed. It is the same scarf Peri had been wearing. There is also blood on it. Ray insists this proves his daughter was inside the hospital, but the officers point out that the scarf cannot prove who it belongs to. Ray also admits the blood may have come from his own head injury. Every piece of evidence now seems trapped between two possible explanations. It could prove the hospital is lying, or it could prove Ray is treating his own belongings as traces left behind by a family that was never there. To understand what is happening, the hospital brings in a psychiatrist. Instead of immediately dismissing Ray's story, she calmly listens. Ray explains everything from the beginning. Then she asks about Abby. 8 years earlier, Ray drove after drinking and caused a serious accident. His first wife and their unborn child were killed. Ray survived, but he never truly escaped the guilt. Ray tells the psychiatrist that he stopped drinking years ago, but only a few hours earlier, he chose to buy alcohol instead of the batteries his daughter wanted. The psychiatrist offers another possibility. Maybe Joanne and Peri never entered the hospital at all. Maybe they are still back at the rest stop. Everyone returns to the scene that night. A police dog quickly finds Peri's missing compact mirror near the construction pit. That proves the girl was there. But then an officer discovers a large pool of dried blood beneath the snow. There is far too much blood for it to have come from a broken arm. Ray insists it came from the wound on his head. But everyone can see that his injury was not severe enough to create a bloodstain that large. The rest stop is no longer being treated as the site of an accident. It may now be a murder scene. The psychiatrist asks Ray to remember exactly what happened before Peri fell. Ray admits that he was furious at the time. He was angry with Joanne, angry with his life, and frustrated with his daughter for not listening. He picked up a rock and threw it. Ray insists that he was aiming at the dog, but the psychiatrist suggests that his memory may have replaced the real target with the animal. Maybe Peri died at the rest stop, maybe Joanne confronted Ray afterward, and in the confusion, he may have hurt her too. The human mind can sometimes rebuild reality into something completely different, not to deceive other people, but to protect itself from a truth too painful to accept. Ray has already lost one family. If he caused a second tragedy with his own hands, his mind may simply be unable to face it. The psychiatrist keeps pressing him with the same question. Where are Joanne and Peri? For the first time, doubt begins to show in Ray's eyes. The hospital has no records of them. Every camera shows him alone. The doctor says he arrived by himself, and a large pool of blood was found at the rest stop. Could his wife and daughter really be dead? Could the hospital conspiracy be nothing more than a story his mind created to escape the guilt? One of the officers takes out a pair of handcuffs. Ray does not resist, but just as they are about to arrest him, a dog barks somewhere in the distance. Ray looks up and sees the same stray dog that approached Peri standing above the ruins. The dog is real. To Ray, that means his memory of what happened must be real too. He becomes convinced that the psychiatrist was never trying to help him. She was manipulating him into confessing. The hospital staff, the doctors, and even the officers in front of him may all be part of the same conspiracy. Ray suddenly grabs an officer's gun and takes the psychiatrist hostage. He forces everyone to lower their weapons. Then he locks them inside a storage room at the rest stop. Before he leaves, the psychiatrist warns him that seeing the dog does not prove everything else he remembers is true. But Ray is no longer willing to listen. He takes the hospital access card and drives the police car back to Kirkbride. This time, he will not ask anyone for help. He is going into level B2 himself to bring his family back. Ray puts on a white lab coat, hides the gun beneath it, and steps into the elevator. But the lower level cannot be accessed without a special key. Just then, the same security guard who restrained him earlier walks into the elevator. Ray yanks him inside and points the gun at him. He forces the guard to hand over the key, but the guard fights back, and the two men struggle violently inside the cramped elevator. In the end, Ray locks his arm around the guard's neck from behind. Even after the man stops resisting, Ray does not let go. He keeps choking him until the guard is dead. Only then does Ray pick up the key and press the button for the underground floor. When the elevator doors open, a cold, silent hallway stretches out in front of him. Almost immediately, Ray spots the small stuffed dog that was given to Peri earlier. It has been thrown into a trash can. To Ray, that is proof his wife and daughter were brought here. A moment later, two hospital workers pass by while pushing a silver insulated container. In Ray's eyes, it is filled with human organs. He enters a nearby room and sees a body that has been cut open. At that point, every clue finally seems to fit together. The questions about organ donation, the doctor praising Peri's eyes, the injured patients being taken underground, the silver containers, the thick envelopes. Ray becomes certain that the hospital has been selecting suitable patients and harvesting their organs. He keeps moving until he finally looks through the glass of an operating room. And there, he sees Peri. His daughter is lying on the table, surrounded by doctors preparing to begin surgery. Joanne is nearby as well, half-conscious on a hospital bed. Ray storms into the operating room with the gun raised. He orders everyone away from his daughter. The staff keeps telling him that the child on the table is not Peri. They insist that his wife and daughter were never there. But to Ray, that is just another lie meant to cover up the crime. He grabs his daughter, then pulls Joanne down from the operating table. In the chaos, several doctors rush in to stop him. Ray grabs the gun and fires at the surgical light overhead. The shattered equipment triggers an explosion. Taking advantage of the confusion, Ray pushes Joanne and Peri out of the operating room. The doctor who gave Peri the stuffed dog steps into his path. He tries to talk Ray down, but Ray is done listening. He shoots the doctor in the leg and escapes the hospital with his wife and daughter. As Ray drives away, police sirens begin echoing in the distance. But for the first time all day, he finally relaxes. Joanne sits in the back seat, looking at him gently. Peri lies in her mother's arms and says her arm still hurts. Ray watches them through the rearview mirror. A smile he has not worn in years slowly returns to his face. Then he begins singing "Sing a Rainbow" again. Red and yellow and pink and green. Purple and orange and blue. In Ray's world, he has defeated the corrupt hospital. He has made up for failing to save his first wife 8 years earlier. At last, he has become the husband and father capable of protecting his family. But then the camera reveals what is really in the back seat. Joanne is not there, neither is Peri. The only person behind him is an unconscious stranger who has just undergone abdominal surgery. Ray did not rescue his wife and daughter. He broke into a normal operating room, killed a security guard, shot a doctor, and kidnapped an innocent patient. The real Joanne and Peri have been inside the trunk of his car the entire time. The story returns to the construction pit. The stray dog was real. Ray really did throw the rock at it, but the sudden movement and flying stone frightened Peri. The girl lost her balance and fell into the pit. She died on impact. Ray lunged after her and fell as well, suffering a serious head injury. When Joanne reached the bottom and saw that her daughter was no longer breathing, she completely broke down. Still dazed and confused, Ray pushed her away. Joanne fell backward and struck her head on an exposed piece of rebar. She died instantly. In only a few seconds, Ray lost his entire family for the second time. But this time, the tragedy had been caused by his own actions. His mind could not accept what happened, so it preserved the dog, the pit, and the fall. But it rewrote the outcome. In the new version, Peri did not die. She only broke her arm. Joanne never fell onto the rebar. Instead, she joined them on the drive to the hospital. From that moment on, Ray began living inside a reality his own mind had rebuilt. He placed the bodies of his wife and daughter inside the trunk and drove to the hospital alone. The hospital really did treat the wound on his head. He really did sit alone in the waiting room. But in Ray's reality, Joanne and Peri were beside him the entire time. His mind transformed ordinary actions by the hospital staff into evidence of an organ trafficking conspiracy. There was no secret operation, there were no erased patients, and there was no group of people working together to deceive him. What had truly been erased were the few seconds Ray could not bear to remember. The hospital did not steal his wife and daughter. His own memory stole the truth. Ray keeps driving toward the morning light. The bodies of his family lie cold inside the trunk. The innocent patient he kidnapped remains unconscious in the back seat. But in the world Ray sees, his family is finally together again. Joanne still loves him, Peri still needs him, and Ray has finally done what he failed to do 8 years earlier. He saved his family. "Sing a Rainbow" continues playing inside the car as a satisfied smile spreads across Ray's face. To him, false happiness has completely replaced the unbearable truth, and that is where the movie ends. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy crime twists, revenge traps, legal loopholes, and survival stories where one mistake changes everything, make sure to subscribe to Traplix Cinema. Every story here starts with a trap and ends with a truth that flips everything you thought you knew.